What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Kondo coming back at you with another video. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the keys to victory for the Atlanta Falcons against the Carolina Panthers. Another division foe going up 85 North this weekend to see can we become at least 1-1 in the division. It's a big game for the Atlanta Falcons. Can the Atlanta Falcons keep the momentum going? That's going to be the key. Can't kind of have a step back at the performance you put on display on prime time on Sunday Night Football. We do not want to see these guys take a step back. So we're definitely going to see what it's going to take the Atlanta Falcons to get a important win in the division. Yes, it's early in the season, but you want to try to get that momentum going. We got a couple more hard games coming up here for the Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button, so I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people, lots of more people, guys, can come in here and me talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. So let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to talk about Younghoe Koo. So the Atlanta Falcons announced today that they had actually released our kicker, Younghoe Koo, a guy who at one point had a 90-something percentage in field goal percentages. He was really, really good. What's going on, EQ? Yeah, he had a really good field goal percentage, man. You know what I mean? Think about it, man. This guy is the guy that in the stadium, everybody is out there, chanting his name. He had a chant in the stadium, man. It was cool, right? And everybody thought he was saying boo, but it was calling his name because that's how special he was, right? Can't forget the kick he made last year. In overtime, to send us to overtime against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This year he kind of messed up, did not send us overtime. Don't forget the kick he made in New Orleans against the Saints last year as well. Big kick he made. So he has had some big moments for the Atlanta Falcons. But it's a business, man. I mean, Koo missed 10 kicks in the last season alone. Counting this kick that he missed this week. So he just had lost his mojo, right? Talking about the turf and things like that, it's just not good enough. Atlanta Falcons can't afford to lose games. On plays like that. Every play counts, and putting points on the board as a kicker, your one job you have to do, and you got to be relied on, right? Especially nowadays when you got kickers making 65 yards, 69 yard, 59-yard kicks, making it look like easy work, right? And then we have our kicker going out in the dome, mind you, too. No wind, no elements in play. It's the crowd, of course, it's pressure moment. Who am I to say, he need to make that kick? But he get paid a lot of money, right? And Koo, if you guys didn't know, he was the second highest paid kicker in the league. So, he just didn't deliver. And Atlanta Falcons had to do what they got to do, to make the decisions. Now, bring in Parker Romo, a guy that went 5 for 5 in prime time, right? We're going to see if he can continue to deliver for the Atlanta Falcons. But at this point, he's been elevated. He's got a 2-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons, so he's now the Atlanta Falcon kicker moving forward. They still got Lenny Craig, on the practice squad, who does not count towards the 16-man practice squad, right? He's an international player, so he's there. Probably in the wings, just saying. I hope Parker Romo will mess up, right? But let's see what happens with this. Raheem mentioned this week that 90% chance that Romo was going to be the kicker. He wasn't 100%, so whatever they're saying through practice this week must solidify the deal for them to actually go ahead and make that move. So, good luck to Younghoe Koo. He did leave a message with the Atlanta Falcon organization because they did give him a lot of good years here. And the memories are there, guys. He won a lot of big games for us, but over the last year or so, we probably lost some games because of the foot of Younghoe Koo. So the Atlanta Falcons had to make a decision, and I guess they decided to do that. So good luck to him. Let's see if Parker Romo can get the things going. He's off to a good start. Only being one game, but however, only played 2 games in the season, right? Going 5 for 5. Well, technically 6 for 6. You count the extra point he got after the touchdown. You gotta like now that first field goal kick that he had kind of probably had the adrenaline going a little bit, kind of went over the left upright, but it went in. It was good. So What else can you ask for? So let's see what Parker Romo can do. Right, he's the guy moving forward. And like I said, good luck to Young Way Cool, and we appreciate everything he done for us, except for the last year or so. All right, all right. So let's get into the keys, guys. So this is a big game. Before we get into the keys, let's just talk about this game. And the last time we seen the Carolina Panthers, they put over 40 points on us. Our defense was bad. It was really bad. Um, and just left a bad taste in our mouth. What led to the firing of our former defensive coordinator and Jimmy Lake, bringing in Jeff Ulbrich, a guy that's right now is living up to the what we want him to live up to, and bringing in a really good defense so far. Atlanta Falcons is in the top 5 in defense in pretty much every defensive category, and you love to see that. Yes, they're 1-1, but you love what you see so far, and this time of the season where you want to see teams get better and better and better. And starting off this way, you can only imagine what this defense could be humming. First year in the scheme could be looking like in the November, December timeframe. So you love what you see from this defense. But Carolina Panthers really did a job on us. Now their defense, couldn't stop us either. So it was going back and forth. But they have made changes as well on the defensive side of the ball. Derrick Brown, that beast, is back in the middle, so we definitely gonna have to deal with him. So we'll definitely see how the Atlanta Falcons adjust to bringing that guy back. He's a problem for the Atlanta Falcons. Has been a problem for Atlanta Falcons for years, and he's back in the middle. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with him this week. The Carolina Panthers do have a couple of injuries on the offensive line. See, can Atlanta Falcons take advantage of that? I think their center and one of their guards is out. So let's see the Atlanta Falcons take advantage of that. Get back after the quarterback like they was able to do against the rookie quarterback last week. And J.J. McCarthy just, starting his second game of his career. So Josh Young was going a little bit different, a guy who's been in the league a while. So definitely I think he's going to his third season. So, a little bit more season, but we still feel like we should be able to get after this guy. And let's go to the keys. So let's talk about offensive keys today. Offensive keys. So let's start off what we liked on Sunday night, and that is continue to run the ball. Right, this is a running team for the what's up, Jay Black. The Atlanta Falcons, man, was able to run the ball to a tune of 218 yards. Bijan and Tyler looked outstanding in that game. Now the interesting thing about it was that the Minnesota Vikings kind of dared the Atlanta Falcons run the ball. They kept they stay safeties high, right, taking away the deep pass. It's already interesting that teams are fearing the arm strength of Michael Penix Jr. and forcing him to play underneath and take what the defense give him. And I guess they're finding out that he's willing to do that. So we'll see if the team start to make adjustments. But right now, the Atlanta Falcons bread and butter, and it's been for probably the last 4 or 5 years. It's been the run game, going back to Arthur Smith days, and it has not changed with Raheem Morris coming in here. So you have to take advantage of the 2 special running backs you got in the backfield. Outstanding offensive line, even with Caleb McGarry going down, the Atlanta Falcons was able to, like I said, run for 218 yards last week. So continue to run the ball is definitely going to be my first key. It sets up everything. Even if you want to try to get the passing game going, running the ball it's got to be the key. Like I said, they have to deal with Derrick Brown, and the things he's going to the problems he's going to bring for the Atlanta Falcons offensive line. But at the same time, you want to be able to see the Atlanta Falcons continue to run the ball, let Bijan and Tyler eat, just like they was able to do in the 2 games they played against Carolina Panthers last year. Like I said, Derrick Brown wasn't there, so we want to put a caveat on that. And they have made other moves as well on their defense, trying to become better. So it's going to be key to run the ball. So that's definitely the first key for the Atlanta Falcons, to make sure that they run the ball. The second key for us this week on the offensive side of the ball would definitely be third down, right? We need to be better on third down. I think it was 6 for 15 last week. Didn't hurt us at all because we definitely was able to move the ball like we wanted to. We was able to really run the ball well on first down, get good down and distance. But being good on third down is definitely going to be key. Um, these teams are so evenly matched across the NFL. All 32 teams are. When you look at that, you know, the situational football parts of the game is where it really boils down to. And if you look at those different categories, you look at third down, you look at red zone, you look at turnovers, you look at penalties, things like that. The things that when you look at the look at the game in its entirety, those things that really counts the most, right? Every now and then you have the outliers, and players make plays, right? Because there's some superstars in this league. But when you look at third downs and things like that, and so it's going to be key. So the Falcons need to start to mean at least 45 to 50% on third down. That's where their goal needs to be for the season. Um, right now they're a little bit below that, and so they can just pick that up. So third down is where I'm looking for Atlanta Falcons to continue. That's where you keep your defense fresh, keep your defense off the ball, you keep the ball moving, and be able to get in good scoring positions. Right, you keep the other offense off the field as well. So this the key. Getting third downs, getting first downs on third downs, and things like that. That's going to be the key. So they can continue to run the ball and do well on third down is really going to be the answer. And then the last thing for the offense this week is the red zone, right? And last Falcons 1 for 5 last week, um, Sunday night in the red zone. That cannot happen, right? Um, you got to be able to put more than 3 points on the board. Yes, you were in good scoring position. You want to be able to come away with some points, but at some point in time, you're going to come up against a high-powered offense, and you got to score touchdowns. It's just the way it is. So they got to work the kinks out on that. You know, it's all about execution when you get in the red zone because the field strengths, um, those safeties that you had playing off is starting to come down a little bit more. The coverage is more tight, so you got to be real precise. The quarterback has to make good, quick decisions in the red zone, um, and the receivers in the red zone got to be able to make good, hard, decisive routes when they're running their routes in the red zone as well. When we're running the ball, we got to make sure we get man on man and be able to keep them punching in the run game. But red zone play for the Atlanta Falcons has to be better. So I know that should be the two keys. That's definitely that they're working on this week is third down and red zones. So that's why it's my keys as well this week. Um, and it's all about situational football. Those, like I said, those are the things you get highlighted. You look at your red zone percentage, you look at your third down percentages, penalties, turnovers. Those things is what win games and lose games. It's just that simple, and that's what Atlanta Falcons need. They've really been good in turnovers. Penalties has not hurt them as much, but third down and red zone is, I think, is where the Atlanta Falcons need to improvements. It's only week 3, but we need to start seeing some improvements in this. Um, and I can tell you this, a lot of people thinking that, of course, the betting favorites got them +5 on the win side, but it's a division opponent. You never want to sleep on your division opponent. They know you well, you know them well. So I think divisional games always are tight. So Atlanta Falcons need to come in with a you know, go ahead and forget about what happened on Sunday night and come out and focus and win, you know, go 1-0 this week. That's the their mindset. So um, continue to run the ball, be good on third down, and let's punch it in for a touchdown in the red zone. If they can make it, if the Atlanta Falcons are able to do that on the offensive side of the ball this week, I think that they will be successful. And there you have it, guys. Those are my offensive keys for this week. Let's go to um, my defensive keys, right? Defensive keys for the week for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, so we was really excited about what we've seen from the Atlanta Falcons defensive side of the ball. Now we're going to start off saying that AJ Terrell, our number one corner, is going to be out this week. So that's going to definitely be a blow. And if you look what happened in the second half in the Minnesota Viking game, They kind of shifted their game plan a little bit. Instead of going a little bit more man to man, they went a little bit more zone. They brought in D Offer. It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to have on the opposite side of Mike Hughes this week. Um, Probably D Offer probably get the nod, but of course you got Nathan Brooks. You got C.J. Henderson, a guy who's played a lot of reps in this league as well, who's a first round pick in the same draft with A.J. Terrell. You got Kobe Bryant, another guy that they have on the roster, practice squad. See if they elevate him. So Clark Phillips, a guy that they potentially think is going to be coming back here soon from his rib injury. So he could definitely get burned as well. So the Atlanta Falcons have a lot of options to go that's going to be out there, playing for AJ Terrell. But the question is, how is Jeff Albrecht going to call this defense, knowing that AJ Terrell's not out there? You don't have that surefire one lockdown corner out there. Do you call the game different? You saw the difference that it did. Atlanta Falcons had 5 sacks in the first half. AJ Terrell out there. In the second half, they only had 1, right? Because they switched up the way they was playing defense. So it'll be interesting to see what Jeff Albrecht decided to do on a decent defensive side of the ball. But just look at that and see what kind of adjustments they make, not having AJ Terrell out there, right? But my first key for the defense this week is definitely going to be to stop the run again, right? The Carolina Panthers has not been running the ball well the first 2 weeks of the season. We do not want to be the team to have them get right. We don't want to be the get right team, right? The Atlanta Falcons have been doing an excellent job, stop and run this year. We want to be able to continue that, up front. That front seven's been excellent in that aspect. So we already talked about they're missing 2 starters in the middle. So we want to be able to, limit Chuba Hubbard, and kind of make these guys one-dimensional, right? And then you can let your pass rush get off. So it's going to be huge for that. Continue to stop the run. Don't let those guys get going. That's what we've seen the first 2 weeks from the Carolina Panthers. So we do not want to be that team to let them get out of the slide of being there to run the ball, especially being down 2 starters on your offensive line. We cannot have that. My second key is we need to pressure Bryce Young. It's just that simple. We need to put a lot of pressure on him. The last 2 weeks, Atlanta Falcons really being good on pressures on Baker Mayfield and J.J. McCarthy. We need to see you continue that. Now, the first week, we didn't get a lot of, positive stuff from the rush. We did let Baker Mayfield scramble for 3 first down, which, in my opinion, probably cost us the game. But last week, they was really, really good in that aspect. They rushed as a team. The integrity in your rush lanes, you saw that. You even saw guys coming back. They didn't out over pass rush. They tracked back and was able to take J.J. McCarthy down when he was trying to escape out the pocket. That's what you want to see. And that's what we have to be able to pressure Bryce Young, get him off his spots. He's smaller in stature, but he's a technician, guys. You go back and watch the guy in Alabama and what he was able to do the last part of the season, even that last game against the Atlanta Falcons. When he has time, when he knows where he want to go with the ball, he's really good. So Atlanta Falcons need to create some confusion there for Bryce Young and put pressure on him and get him off his spots, right? I do believe that he's still able to do that. So it's going to be key for Atlanta Falcons to make sure that they put pressure on Bryce Young. That's got to be the key, right? You looking at it, you get them one-dimensional. If you look at the games they played, right, they couldn't get anything going in their running game, so they kind of spread teams out. We might see a little bit of that if we do start to run. So we need to be prepared for that. But if that's the case, like I said, that quarterback pressure needs to be make sure they get home, and that's going to be where we're talking about. And then last key is get off the field on third down. One of the things, if you watch the Atlanta Falcons so many years, is that they have teams in third and long, and then they let the team convert. Right? We actually had that happen last week. Adam Thielen, I think it was 3rd and 18, and Adam Thielen caught a first down ball. We cannot let that happen, guys. That should be 3 and out, right? When you get to get a team in third and long, there should be a check down for them. There's no way they should be able to complete past the first down marker to be able to get a first down. Even if you check it down, you should be able to stop them for not 18 yards, right? It shouldn't be the case. That should be automatic win for the teams. But for some reason, a lot of times on the Falcons somehow does not get off the field in those downs. So get off the field on third down. It's going to be huge for this Atlanta Falcons team. And if they do that, I think the Atlanta Falcons will really be good, right? Um, like I said, got to get off the field, man. Got to get off the field. Put the ball back into your offense hands and let these guys get it rolling. That's got to be the key. That's just where it is. So you're looking at my defensive keys this week. Start the run. Do not let those guys get going. They have not been good this year so far. Pressure Young. You have to pressure the quarterback. You can't let him look like he looked that last game of the season against you. Of course, this is a totally different defense, so we should not have those issues. And then last but not least, let's get off the field on third down. Do not give up big third down plays when you got all the momentum going. Get off the field, just like they was able to do in the Minnesota game, and that's what you want to see. Definitely, guys, that's what you want to see. Those are my defensive keys: run game, pressure the quarterback, and get off the field on third down. All right. Let's go to the last key of the day, and that is special teams. Guys, I'm going to keep this sweet and simple for you guys this week, and repeat what you did last week. It's just that simple, right? Right? Have your kicker go 5 for 5 or perfect from kicking field goals. Your coverage was outstanding, right? I mean, from week to week, if you look at the coverage and what they was able to do was just really good. Now, Mike Ford is questionable this for the game. We'll see what happens with him. He was one of the stars in the special teams last week. Him and actually D. Alford as well, who probably be elevated playing playing some snaps for the Atlanta Falcons on defense this week. So somebody else got to step up with that. But if you look at guys like DeMarco Hellams, D'Angelo Malone, all those guys need to play big roles on special teams. But I mean, simple for me. I'm not going to, try to come up with some kind of sweet science, special teams key this week, and it's just repeat what you did last week, man. If you're able to do that, even create a turnover, at the end of the game, Mike Ford kind of rattled the returner, the young rookie, and he coughed up the ball. So just repeat what you was able to do last week, right? That's really what it boils down to. If you do that on special teams, perfect in the kicking game, coverage was outstanding. Didn't get a lot of returns, and that's fine, right? What we was able to see in the return game was guys, protecting the ball and making sure that our offense get to start a series there. So that was the main key in the return game. So you love to see that. Jamal Agnew is still out. The guy that we brought in to be able to be our returner. So at this point, we just want to make sure we catch the ball and don't turn over the ball in the return game. But what you was able to do in the coverage and in the kicking game was outstanding, right? You got to tip your hat off to Bradley Pinion, where he was doing those kickoffs. Most of the time, the Minnesota Vikings was not starting at the 35-yard line. It was short of that. So that's really good job by Bradley Pinion to be able to do that. So my keys for a special team is just keep doing what you're doing. Do what you did last week, and we all will be good. All right? All right, guys. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the fact the way they are playing Michael Penix Jr. right now, right? We saw all training camp, deep pass after deep pass on target. We talked about it all offseason, and arm strength and Michael Penix and things like that. So guess what, right? The defenses around the league knows that as well, right? So they figured we're gonna take away his strengths, right? We're gonna make this young quarterback who's itching to throw the ball down the field because of his talent he has to make him go it the long way. And at this point right now, Michael Penix Jr. has definitely been doing that, right? He hasn't forced the ball down the field. He's one of the only quarterbacks in the league hasn't turned over the ball. So, not gonna win on that. right? But he's been protecting the ball. He's been getting the ball out of his hand. He got one of the quickest released in the league, and he's been taking what the defense giving him. Right. At some point, if we continue to run the ball, go back to my first key offensive side, um, it's going to open up for Michael Penix. Then he'll be able to do the things he's able to do. But at this point, if they continue to dare the Atlanta Falcons to run the ball, right, and keep those guys high and try to, make the Atlanta Falcons go the distance, then it seems like Michael Penix and, our offense coordinator is good with that. Seemed like they was on the right page. And then to what Michael Penix said, if his check down is Bijan Robinson, he'll live with that because you would expect Bijan to make the first guy make, and you'll pick up some yards, with the check down anyway. So it's good to see Michael Penix. You see his maturity. Yes, this just going to his sixth game of his career this week against the Carolina Panthers, but you can see that he's played a lot of football and he understands that defense is trying to get him to make a mistake, and he's not falling for it. Yes, he would love to go downfield and show off the arm talent that he has, but at the same time, it's all about winning games and doing the right thing when you have the ball in your hand. And so far, you have to be impressed with what you're seeing with the young quarterback and Michael Penix Jr. Getting the ball out of his hand, and making the right plays down the field. It's just that simple. That's what we've been seeing. But I do believe at some point, the Atlanta Falcons, what's going on, T. Terry? I do believe at some point that this offense is going to open up for the Falcons, because you know Bijan and Tyler is not stopping, man. The offensive line, they was embarrassing week one, the performance they put out, and you have to tip your head off also to Zach Robinson going a little bit more heavy in 12 personnel, putting Charlie Warner in the backfield, running motions, kind of getting the defense off balance, not really knowing where the ball going to go. And you have to be impressed with what you've seen from the Atlanta Falcons in their run game, right? 12 personnel was heavy, right? You could see some more of that, or you could see something different, right? Last year, they went a lot of 11 personnel. They ran out of that as well. But it depends on where defense are playing you. I can't say this. The two defenses that Atlanta Falcons have played, both defensive coordinators was really, really good, and Todd Bowles and Brian Flores. So you're not going to get, that much better than what you're seeing for those. You get a guy like McDermott. You get a guy like Robert Saleh in San Francisco, right? You're going to get some more good defenses coming up here soon. But for the most part, what we have seen from this Atlanta Falcons offense is going up against really two really good defensive coordinators, trying to confuse our young quarterback. And he has played really well. I know everybody want to see the deep passing game go, but Michael Penix has protected the ball and he has made the right play pretty much most of the time. A lot of plays, when he did have an opportunity to go downfield, the offensive line didn't hold up on some of those plays, right? Some of the guys wasn't even out their routes yet. So we have to do better in pass protection, but Michael Penix is know when to get rid of the ball. He knows when it's time to let it go. Go to your check down when you don't have what you want down deep and stuff like that. But the good news is Darnell Mooney is back at full practice. He's our legitimate deep threat. We'll see. Can we start to get him the ball? We got to see, more out of Drake. Like I said, these first 2 weeks been interesting because the first week they took away the deep passing game, but we could not run the ball like we wanted to, and we saw the outcome of that game. Well, last week, Sunday Night Football, they took away the deep pass again, but our running game got going, and that should be the plan moving forward. Continue to run the ball, get them to put that eighth man in the box, and then you'll start to get your one-on-ones and things like that. Play action is still got to be the key as well. Based off how well run the ball, you can get the linebackers to bite up, um, and come down and thinking Bijan getting it raw, thinking Tyler getting the ball, and then go behind them inside in the zones, right behind the linebackers. You got to be able to take advantage of those plays as well. So it's gonna be interesting. But Michael Penix Jr. is doing fine. I know everybody ready to see the explosiveness from this offense, but you got to tip your hat off to what the defense has been doing the first 2 weeks. And like I said, both of those guys are really, really good defensive coordinators. Their scheme is and you have to really like what you've seen from Tampa, man. The way they schemed up that first game was really good. They did some stuff that confused the offensive line, and they didn't execute the way they needed to. So, but they came out. What's going on, Robin? The way they came out, the second game on Sunday night was outstanding, right? So I would say I'm going to say be patient with offense, right? The crazy part about it is that our defense is playing like it should play, and you just know at some point the offense is going to get it together because they're just too talented to not to, right? They have all the pieces on one of the best offensive lines in the league. Despite Caleb Berry going down, two of the best backs, I think probably the best two duo backs in the league, in Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Um, Solid receivers. Kyle Pitts has been a revelation for us, man. He's really been good these first 2 games, and that connection between him and Michael Penix is been good. So, so far, man, you have to like what you've seen. It just seemed like it's not clicking on all cylinders, right? So a lot of people can say that has something to do with preseason, right, or not getting enough steps. And hopefully, going into the third and fourth game, we start to see these guys start to clicking a little bit more. And I agree with you. I do agree that at some point that if we don't see this offense starting to be explosive as we thought it was going to be, because a lot of us thought that offense is going to have to carry this team. But so far, the defense has been playing well. If they can get it going together, this can really be a special season for the Atlanta Falcons. So let's see what happens, man. But don't get discouraged about what you have seen so far from the offense. Right? They did well enough to put 22 points on the board last week. Like I said, no turnovers, which is really important for our quarterback. And as long as the defense keep playing expired football the way they've been playing up on the Jeff Ulbrich, Nate Ali, Rudd, those guys got these guys playing. You have to like it, right? It's going to be different a little bit this week with AJ Terrell out. It's going to see how they switch up their scheme. Probably less man to man, a little bit more zone coverage. So that would kind of take away from the pass rush a little bit, but you love to see what these guys going to do. They're hungry, they're excited, and they're playing together, man. So gotta love it. You gotta love it. But guys, there you have it, man. My keys to victory for this week for the Falcons versus the Panthers. I do expect the Atlanta Falcons to win this game, right? Carolina still seems like they're trying to figure it out, but the Atlanta Falcons is a better team, right? The way the defense been playing the first 2 weeks, um, I expect them to continue, especially with coming in with the offensive line, a little hamper there. We should be able to take advantage of that. We do have to worry about Derek Brown on defensive side of the ball. They're number 8th overall pick that they got in T Mac, right? He's going to come out and try to do some things. They got Hunter Renfro there. Again, I'm not sure what his status is. I know he was limited a little bit this week. So biggest thing is to stop Chuba Herbert from the ball and get after Bryce Young. If they're able to do that, we'll be in good hands, guys. It is a divisional game. Like I said, divisional games are tougher because we play these guys 2 weeks. They know us. And for some strange reason, I have no idea. The Carolina fans think that we're their rivals. We're not rivals with the Carolina Panthers. I'm just going to say that. We're not rivals with you guys. We're rivals with the Aints. All right, let's keep it real, right? We don't like them, they don't like us, and that's our rivals, right? The Panthers, we ain't even worried about y'all. I'm just being with you. As fans, yeah, we should win that game. That's the way we feel about it. You know, even though you guys got the last game of the season, but we're not like, oh man, we play the Panthers this week. It's not that much excitement for this game. I can be honest with you. The Aints a different story, but the Panthers, no. So I don't know why you guys think that it's some kind of rivalry. Yeah, it's an 85, I-85 matchup. I get it. Um, that distant there. But at the same time, we're not like, oh man, we got to play the Carolina Panthers this week. No. I'll be honest with you, it's not that way. Sorry to tell you guys that, but it's not. We don't care. We expect to win this game. We lose the game, we be mad, right? Um, we want to play the Aints. We want to beat them. That's our team. Want to beat, and that's what it's all about. So, just being honest with you, while it says with no reconnaissance, and I think we should win this Panthers game outright on Sunday. I agree with you 100%. It should be a convincing win. Um, it's just the way it is, right? This it's now it comes with some things because it's their home opener, right? They've been on the road for 2 weeks. They come back and they say first game at home, right? So they're gonna come out with a little juice. They're gonna be fired up a little bit in Carolina, in the stadium, whatever. But man, we any given Sunday, right? So it's not like they can't beat us. I'm not sitting here saying that, but Atlanta Falcons should win this game. If they play their game, no mistakes and things like that. Come out and play hard and execute like you're supposed to, and you should come away with the win. It's just that simple. Bryce Young is still up and coming, um, and he still got some growing to do. It's just that simple to me. Even though it's his third season, he has way many more starts than Michael Penix Jr. But yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna get kind of worried about this game. When I come back on Monday, I can eat crow. You like you ate crow, right? The Panthers beat you, right? And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm kind of worried about this team. Just not. All right. That's just the truth. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in on a Friday. Listen to me talk about the keys to this game. I'm excited about it. I know you guys are. I really want to see can this defense, you know, see their on-court performance, what they're able to do this week based off what they did last week. And we want to be able to see if the offense passing game can get going like it should get going. All right, guys, let me know what you think about my keys. A recap real quick before we get out of here. On the offense side of the ball, run the ball, continue to run the ball. Um, be really good on third down, situational football, and let's put points on the board in the red zone. Defensive standpoint is don't let them get their running game going. It has not been good the first 2 weeks of the season, so we do not want to be the team to mess that up. We want to pressure on Bryce Young, right? That's what we want to do. Make sure we put pressure on him, get him off his spot. Don't let him get comfortable in the pocket. When he does that, he's really really good. That's got to be the key. And then we want to get out the field on third down. It's just got to be what we need to do. Get the ball back in offense hand. No third and longs. Completion for these guys. Get them off the field, right? And then last but not least, special teams. Just repeat what you did last week. If you do that, what you did on Sunday Night Football, be 100% in the kicking game, and your kickoff and punt coverage need to be excellent like it was last week. And we are good. While it says, well, it was the Vikings' first game at home too, and we did what we did, and much going. And right, and it was on Sunday Night Football too. You right, man. We don't care about we don't care about first games at home, stuff like that. That like I said, but it's momentum, right? I'm talking about momentum. That's what I meant, right? They're gonna come out fired. I'm just talking about their mindset, what they should be feeling like. We're not going to lose our first game at home. We'll do whatever. It don't matter because the Vikings probably felt the same way, right? And we shut that crowd up, and that's probably one of the more hostile environments you're gonna play in. And the Atlanta Falcons came out and played really well. Um, we just need to be efficient in offense, whether we're running the ball or passing the ball, and clean up on the offense line penalties. I agree with you 100%. Elijah Wilkinson has a couple more penalties last week. He has to be able to one to stop that. But the penalties has not been killing us that much this season. I can honestly say that. Um, it's been down. So I really like what I have seen from this Atlanta Falcons. The discipline in this team, despite not getting so many preseason games that everybody feel like they need to get, right? But let's see what you guys do, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited. All right. So guys, there you have it. Keys to victory for this Panthers game. Then we have the big showdown next week back in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Jaden Daniels if he plays, because Marcus Mariota is going this week for them. We'll see if Jaden Daniels be back for week 4. All right, guys. Please share this video through our YouTube universe. I definitely want to hear from more Falcon fans about what their keys are. And am I spot on what I'm thinking the Atlanta Falcons need to do this week? This is your boy Ricardo coming back at you with another video. Peace.